Okay, friends, subscribers, and all you YouTubers out there. Yes, something that already happened in my previous reality before I was torn across over into this reality. I no longer think this is a rapture, folks. If this is happening in this reality as well, it's definitely not a rapture, because when God raptures us, he takes us to a decent place. But I'm pretty much just repeating everything that has just happened in my reality is now repeating. This warning that Putin is now giving ISIS, well, in the next couple of weeks, will turn into World War III. And I mean World War III, but it's not a war like everybody against, like all the countries against the countries. It's all the countries against one thing, and that's ISIS. And pretty well in my world, it was called ISIL. And the whole thing is, folks, it's quite scary actually to see and go through it all over again, because I've been through it once, and I know a lot of people died, a lot of kids died when this war happened. And but the whole thing is, it's got to be stopped. And I can tell you now, they're going to institute martial law all over the world. Was the excuse they used in my reality. I didn't talk about that because I didn't think it was going to happen here. But yeah, martial law was a crackdown in my world as well. And but yeah, and it looks like it's actually happening. It I think this is why all the tanks are being seen over all the different countries, and I think they're going to go down, and they're going to come down tough on all the ISIS groups in all the countries and everything like that. And yeah, well, pretty much after what they've done, I think they do deserve it. But unfortunately, when the war starts in over there, overseas in the Middle East, and that's pretty much where World War III in my reality took place. Yeah, stories you're going to hear about the death and all that's going to be pretty gory. From what I remember in my reality, it was quite upsetting even for a man. So, but ISIS does need to be stopped. And as I said, like I saw a lot more bombings in my reality. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I had a bit of a drama there with a bit of sound issue, so I had to attend to it. Sorry about that. But as I was saying, the dramas that we went through in my reality, it looks like this realities are now about to go through what I have already been through. So, yeah, it's going to be very upsetting for the whole world, because a lot of kids are going to die. Because that's what happened in my reality when they did bomb, because it wasn't just Putin bombing ISIS, it was every country. France got very aggressive as well. The strange thing is, in my reality, this is the difference of the Mandela effect. In my reality, France went to war on ISIS first, then Russia joined in. But in this one, it's actually Putin is the one that's heading in, because it's pretty much there. I swear, if Russia bombs in half an hour, every Muslim will die. Like him or hate him, he places the safety of his people above all, and is not ruled by political correctness. Putin is reportedly mounting an enormous military mission to gain control of ISIS strongholds in Raqqa, Syria, and is the self-declared capital of ISIS, and patrolled approximately by 5,000 crazy jihadists. There were a few more in my reality. Reports state that Putin is set to mobilise 150,000 reservists to ISIS capital city. Following the Paris attacks, Putin hinted he was ready to join forces with the West to destroy the Islamic State. Putin told David Cameron the recent tragic events in France show that we should join efforts in preventing terror. And that's pretty much what they did in my reality, folks, and it was pretty gruesome. It was almost over when I was ripped away by the Mandela effect, by CERN kidnapping me over to this reality. As I said, for a while I was under the belief that maybe we could have been raptured and this was a way of coping with everything that happened, but to me this is just a repeat of what happened in my reality. And yeah, the casualties, I've got to say, were pretty high on both sides. And but when the bombing started, a lot of the ISIS pretty much went down. But it did, because of a lot of the kids dying and that, it did bring a few more into the fold. Because as I said, there was a lot bigger number in my reality. I can remember a hell of a lot more than 5,000 crazy jihadists. There was like about 20,000 of the bastards. And that was the war. It was every country mobilised. I know Australia sent troops, England sent troops, France sent troops, Russia sent troops. Everybody sent troops. And I, like some of the actual countries like Indonesia, all the others, even Muslim countries were sending troops in to confront this terrorist group, and because it had gotten out of control. Because in my reality, one of the reasons why my son and I didn't go to Bali and a few other places in Asia, that's why we chose Hawaii, was because I can't think of the name of that damn beach now. Phuket. In Phuket, Thailand, mate, they were throwing grenades on the beach, and it was getting bad. Bangkok, mate, there was IEDs all over bloody Bangkok, and it was quite scary in my reality. It prevented my son and I going to thing. It was actually similar reasons, apparently, why my son and I didn't go over there in this reality as well. My other self, and yeah, so it was quite scary, folks. It's sort of, if it happens, prepare for at least, oh God, how long did it go for? I think it started about 8-9 months prior to going over, and coming over here, I mean. It sort of, but it had almost ended. They were rooting out the last strongholds of them. Even in the countries where you live, they are going to seek them out, and they will pretty much, yeah, it's not going to be pretty for some countries. It's sort of, I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same as what it was in my world, because as I said, my world was a pretty shitty world before I left, and I'm just hoping it doesn't happen here. A couple of countries, there's going to be some food shortages if it's anything like mine. Pretty much, you want to keep your petrol pumped up, folks. Get some reserve petrol. I've already done that. That was one of the things that got affected by it, was fuel. So if you don't have reserve fuel, yeah, if you're smart, you'll fill up a 20-litre container and have a spare 20-litre container of whatever fuel you use, because there was a fuel shortage for a period of about 5 weeks in my reality. And it seems strange. It's sort of, this reality seems to be about 12 months behind what was happening in my reality. Even though the dates are the same, the events are happening a year later than they happened in my reality. It's just so strange. It's sort of what this parallel shift is all about, and it's quite freaky actually. It's sort of, but all you can do, folks, it's sort of, Yeah, and for those of you that are watching this video and don't believe that this happened in my reality, go back and watch my previous videos. You will hear me talking about World War III. And this is pretty much World War III. This is the start of it, folks. So it's not the type of war that thing. It was the first time I have ever seen every country join together as one, i.e. similar to what the New World Order is, but and it could have, because I got ripped away from my reality before anything finished. So maybe this is the start of the New World Order. I don't know, but all I can tell you is that yeah, this is exactly, and I mean this is exactly what happened in my reality, folks. It's sort of the same thing, except for the fact that France was the one that started bombing ISIS after they got bombed. I don't know whether France is still going to do the same thing, but France is always pretty secret, because we just got a news story one day that France was bombing ISIS, and then Putin joined in. He swapped sides, because prior to that, he was pretty much telling everybody if they didn't stop, he was up against them, pretty much like he was here. It sort of, but as I said, everything seems to be 12 months in time different to what it was in my reality, and it's just so strange. But this warning that Putin's putting out is almost identical to the one in my reality. It's even, the story that I'm reading now is pretty much the same story that I read in my reality, but almost a year ago. And it seems that, yeah, that it's a year behind everything. But it does put a stop to ISIS, or it was putting a stop to ISIS in my reality. But it gets pretty ugly there for a while, folks. And as I said, I've already seen this happen. And I'm praying to God that not as many children die as what happened in my reality, and I hope they get smart enough to get the children out. It's sort of, and this is a thing to all the governments of the world. I've already seen this. Take children in, for God's sake, because a lot of children died in my reality. And as you can hear by my voice, I've pretty much, while I'm talking about it, when I talk about how many kids died, it's bringing tears to my eyes. So whether or not you want to believe it or not, folks, but just review my other videos. I've already spoken about this war, and it's now happening identical to what I've said in my previous videos. This is almost identical, except for the fact that France started bombing them first, and it looks like in this one, Putin's going to do it. But he did swap sides, and he's pretty much now doing exactly what he did in my reality. This was the turn of the terror war, pretty much what we called it. And but it pretty much was World War III. It was every country. And yeah, the loss of life was pretty huge. So it didn't just happen in one country over there. It happened in about five of the Middle Eastern countries. It sort of, every Middle Eastern country rooted out all the ISIS cells. Pakistan, the whole bloody lot. Pakistan was pretty big in it as well. Therefore, I'd say Pakistan's already doing it from the quietness that's coming out of Pakistan at the moment. I'm pretty sure they've already started. But the whole thing is, folks, it's not going to be pretty, because, as I said, I've already seen this happen. So I'm just telling you, prepare yourself what's to come, because World War III, it's about to happen. But as I said, it's not the World War III that everybody has predicted over the years. It's a world war where every country is one force, and that's the strange thing. And when I mean one force, I mean one force. Every country on one mission to root out ISIS and to end it. And trust me, if ISIS gets as bad as they were in my reality, folks, they deserve to be ripped out and shut down. I got nothing against Muslims. I know Muslim people, and I know a lot of people that know Muslim people. And over the years, I've sat down and broke bread with Muslims. I used to work with a couple of them. They were nice guys. I had lunch with them nearly every day when I worked with them. They were nice guys. And they're nothing like these. It's sort of like I've seen the changes in the Muslim population over in the Middle East happen the exact same way that it happened in my reality. A lot of the everything that's happened in my reality is now about to happen, and it's upsetting for me because I've already seen it, folks. I actually was one of the things about being ripped away from my reality was the fact that yeah, I've already seen this, and it was pretty gruesome. So all I can say, folks, is prepare yourselves. If you've got family in the services like I have, yeah, pray. That's all I can say is pray for your family. Yeah, that's one of the things that upsets me, because one of my remaining children that wasn't ripped away in the Mandela effect shift is actually in the service. So yeah, my prayers go out to my son, and my prayer goes out to every serviceman out there, because a lot of our servicemen died in the war as well. So it's not just the Muslims that are going to die, it's our servicemen that die in the war. And if it's lasts as long as it did in mine, it went for about 9 months. So all I can say is, folks, prepare yourselves. If you've got family in the service, yeah, pray for them, talk to them, because it's about to start. Because this is almost identical. Oh, it's not identical, but it's almost identical. Because this is the change, as I said in my other videos, Putin swapped sides, and he went and he did this. So all I can say to you guys is sit back, pray to God, because you're going to need it in your hearts, because what's going to come, and I can tell you now, if you're not a prepper, you need to stock up on water. You need to stock up on food, because there are a couple of food shortages. They're not big in our countries, but in some of the other countries, yes, they are big. But fuel, in about 3 Western countries, the fuel, I don't know what's going to happen in this reality, because this is totally different. But if it's anything like that happened in mine, fuel shortages are going to happen as well. So become a prepper. You're going to need to become a prepper. You're going to need... Well, as a prepper, I've always had 6 months of water. I've always had 6 months of food, and just to make sure that I had enough and everything. Make sure you got a Jenny as well, just in case, and enough fuel to run that generator. Because if they do bombings in our countries, yeah, they go for the electricity. It's just what happened in my reality as well. We only got hit twice in my reality, but I know America got hit a few times, and all the other countries got hit a few times as well. And so, yeah, my prayers go out to everybody, because this is the start of World War III. I never thought it would happen here. I was praying to God that it wasn't going to happen, and I thought that as it didn't happen before I got here, because it had already happened in my reality, and the only difference is we didn't have the Bible changes or whatever. So I don't know what's going on, folks, but I can tell you now, this is not the rapture. This really is not the rapture. It's we have come into a different reality, and yeah, that's just a bit behind. As I said, everything with my predecessor before he got ripped away and I got ripped into this reality, his set is 12 months behind my movie set, and yeah, 12 months. It's everything is a 12-month difference that I've been finding out, and strange things happening and everything like that, folks. So all I can say is put your love out to your family, make sure that, yeah, you can pretty much, yeah, expect a few things. So if I was you, I'd go through and look at all these and everything. Make sure that you've got everything you need to survive. And yeah, but Western countries, yes, we got affected by it as well. So all I can say is make sure you're prepared, folks, and yeah, do your best. I'm praying for you all. God bless. And you notice I didn't swear in this video? There's a reason, because I want everybody to watch this video, folks. Share this video, please. Share it with your friends, share it to Facebook. Make sure that everybody knows to prep for this war, because in my reality, this is weeks away, because when this warning went out, it happened within weeks of this warning going out. And in my reality, it was I got pulled away about 9 months into the war, and I was ripped across over to this reality, and I thought it wasn't going to happen. But now, after reading this, yeah, become a prepper. If you're not a prepper, you need to become a prepper. Anyhow, God bless. My prayer goes out to the whole world. We all need it. And pray for those little children. God bless.